Pokemon Sun and Moon are the latest games in the Pokemon franchise, adding a lot of new features to the Pokemon formula, while Pokemon X and Y was made in 2013 and brought a load of new changes and arguably is the most innovative Pokemon game to date. Now in this video I'm going to be comparing the two games with the changes, the pros, the cons, etc. Now before I start I would like to mention that I'm not an expert with Pokemon, not at all. To be honest, I'm not even a great Pokemon player. I usually forget the important stuff like types and whatever, and I generally have some really bad luck. And you might say, oh no, not really, but honestly, if you saw me playing, you'd be saying the same thing. But anyways, so this is going to be from a perspective of a filthy casual player. And the last thing I'd like to note that this is my opinion, so you know. We're on Title Turn Our Opinion, right? No? Yeah, I thought so. Starters. Well, this seems like a good place to start. Yeah, never mind. So anyways, I actually like the starters from both games. Probably because I like the grass starters. I always pick grass, even though they're quite bad. Let's start with X and Y. X and Y had Chespin, Fennekin, and Froakie. All of them were liked by pretty much everyone, and the typing was pretty good. Now Sun and Moon had Rowlet, Litten, and Popplio. Everyone loved Rowlet and liked Litten, but that can't be said for Popplio. To be honest though, I kinda like Popplio. Anyways, as for typing, it also was alright, but it's quite obvious that Litten looks like a fighting type. The last evolve actually for Litten was it called? I don't know. I'm really great at this, don't worry. And we're all kind of sick of finding fire types, to be honest. My personal favorite is kind of tricky because I prefer Rowlet to Chespin, but I like X and Y's other starters more than Sun and Moon, so I don't know. Beginning. Well, this wasn't first on the list, so I might as well make it second. X and Y starts like most Pokemon games. You wake up, you say hi to your mum, you go outside, other stuff happens. Then you get your Pokemon, hooray! But X and Y does it a lot quicker than other games in the series, which is a definite improvement. But Sun and Moon kind of takes a backward step. The starting island, remind you there's only 5, takes forever. And the whole place is basically one big tutorial, which is a pain considering how quick X and Y was to take off the training wheels. Story. Well, both games aren't extremely amazing to be honest, but I prefer Sun and Moon actually. I'll try to be as spoiler free as possible here, so don't worry too much. With X and Y, apart from becoming the best Pokemon trainer there ever was, you're out to find the mysteries of Mega Evolution. Ooh. And the main bad guy organization is called Team Flare, and yeah, they're kind of dumb, but eh. Sun and Moon has you helping Lily, a mysterious, if you can call her that, girl with the mysterious, yeah, I really need to use thesaurus.com more often, Pokemon called Nebby. That's the nickname. So yeah, the main organization of mild evilness is Team Skull, who are kind of silly, but that's the whole point. Probably the reason I like Sun and Moon more is because I find the characters slightly more interesting. Also, there's a few plot twists here and there, but you can see them a mile away. But, you know, they're fairly interesting. Music. Okay, I know this is going to be a bit controversial, but I really don't like the music in Sun and Moon. It's fairly bad. I just kind of find it annoying, apart from a few tracks, but apart from those, I don't really like it. X and Y, on the other hand, is really, really, really alright, I guess. It had some good tracks, and it had some boring tracks, and that was really it, mostly. Graphics. One of the amazing new features that X and Y had was fully 3D graphics, and they looked pretty good. And they still kept the Pokemon art style, and also used the 3D to good use with the different camera angles and good-looking environments. Sun and Moon, on the other hand, decided to change the art style by changing the character models to be more realistic. And by that I mean they removed the massive heads, which to be honest, I don't like for 2 reasons. First, because, well, I prefer the massive heads. That's what Pokemon's been doing for over 20 years. And it's more lighthearted, and I just prefer the art style. Second is because I think it's a bit of disguise because of how little improvement the graphics are. Because if you really think about it, they're kind of very similar. Battling. Pokemon X and Y introduced Mega Evolutions, while Sun and Moon brought in Z moves. I think Mega Evolutions make more sense because, you know, evolution is kind of a thing in Pokemon, but Z moves are just, okay, that's a thing. They just don't make much sense in the way of Pokemon. Also, Sun and Moon battles are a bit slower, but it builds up in the long run. One thing I do like about Sun and Moon's battles is the look of it. It looks mostly the same, but instead of just the Pokemon, you also have the trainers next to them. So it gives you more of a feeling of the Pokemon and the trainer, not just the Pokemon. Also, it gives you a better scale of how big the Pokemon are. The last thing I'd like to mention is the type advantage showing feature. I don't actually know the name of it. I should really do more research for these things. I like it, and I don't at the same time. I like it because of how useful it is. I sometimes forget what type is good against what. I already told you I was a filthy casual. But I don't like it because of how it kills the puzzle of trying to figure out what type of Pokemon is and trying different moves. I know, like, the first time you do it, it doesn't show you, but afterwards it will always show you, so, like, that mystery aspect only lasts, like, one battle, which is fairly short. The only thing that needs to do is just have an option to disable it, and it'll be fine. Gyms versus Island Trials. Another change Pokemon Sun and Moon had was the replacing of gyms. And instead of having them, you had Island Trials. And quite frankly, they're bad. So you basically know what a gym is, but if you don't, then basically you go through this room, fighting trainers, maybe doing a little puzzle, then fighting the gym leader. And all of these things are based on a certain type. But Island Trials, on the other hand, try to rely mostly on the puzzle aspect of the gyms. So basically all you do is a long, boring, drawn out puzzle, if you can call it that. Then you fight the Trial Guard and oh boy. Okay, so you know the really stupid call out for help thing that sometimes happens in random encounters? It's called SOS battles if you want to know. Oh yeah, about those. They're also really annoying as well. Basically sometimes a Pokemon will call out for help so another one will appear, which makes it a 2v1. And you can't throw a Pokeball as well, which is very annoying. Anyways, back to Trial Gardens. So one of the most annoying things about that is that they will always call out for help. So it definitely will be a 2v1. So it basically becomes the Trial Guardian, which is like boss level, and another person which is a slightly lower level than you, but still that's not very great. So what ends up happening is I spam healing while they continuously attack me. And if I try to retaliate, they kill me in one go. So the only hope is for one of them to miss or something, and then maybe I can do a bit of damage. But then it's back to heal spamming. So that's one thing I'm glad they're not bringing back. Hopefully. Anime. Okay, I don't have much to say here because I don't watch much anime in general. I probably should. But I've seen the first few episodes of X and Y and Sun and Moon, and for what I've seen, X and Y is better. First, the characters are more interesting than in Sun and Moon, and I'm not a big fan of the new art style. I did watch quite a bit of Diamond and Pearl, best Pokemon gen. So I do have some experience with the Pokemon anime, but I'm not a big fan of the new art style. So I do have some experience with the new Pokemon anime, but I'm not a big fan. Just a filthy casual. Also, I think Clemon is the best character of the whole Pokemon anime. Location. So, Sun and Moon was based in Hawaii, while X and Y was in France. Now, personally, I've never been to both. But for the game, I kind of prefer X and Y. Now, before you go, oh, you're a racist, I'm just saying I prefer the world layout to X and Y than Sun and Moon. One thing that was on my mind about the Sun and Moon release was IGN's Too Much Water review they did for the last Pokemon game. And, well, it actually isn't too bad in Sun and Moon. I didn't find that they had too much water and I thought they made the island pretty well. Just not as good as X and Y. I probably prefer X and Y because I like cities and towns and it's got quite a few of those things, so it's quite cool. Random stuff. This is just a few things I'd like to list off before I end this. First, I like the old grid system in X and Y because you weren't always stuck to it, but it was helpful for navigating kind of tricky areas. Second, Sun and Moon's local multiplayer / interactive is definitely better / easier than X and Y's. It's, yeah. Third, legendary wise, I think X and Y is better because they're cooler in premise and makes sense. Because Solgaleo is weak to fire and Lunana is 4 times weak to dark. Actually, I wanted Lunana to be a dark type because Decidueye is a ghost type, and so is Lunana. And so is Luana. Actually, throughout the whole game, I never used my legendary. But anyways, by premise, I mean what they represent. I mean, Sun and Moon is cool, but Life and Death is cooler. Fourth, I don't like the Poké Rider, to be honest. And this is a very unpopular opinion. This is going to be a very unpopular opinion, but I actually like HMs. I know there is problems with them, but I like the idea of trying to give your Pokemon a certain move, so you have to try learn to work with it. It added an extra challenge. But the Poké Ride makes absolutely no sense. And they got rid of the bike! I mean, the bike! Fifth, Sun and Moon's lack of 3D was quite ironic, I have to admit. And no one really used the 3D, but every now and then it would be nice to see a battle in 3D and have your eyes start bleeding. I know they got rid of it because of frame rate issues, and I certainly know them. I have the old 3DS. I have a page. I think they took out the 3D in X and Y on old 3DSs, so Sun and Moon wouldn't look so bad. Well, that's probably just me being an idiot, I don't know. Okay, I've just finished recording a few days ago, and I just remembered something. It's on the random stuff list, so it's number 6, I think. Anyways, I don't like super training. If you don't know what that is, it's for Pokemon X and Y. I found it really, really boring. I know it was for EV training, but like, just still, why would you need it? Well, first, when I tried it, I didn't know what EV training was. Yes, I am a mega filthy casual. So I practically had no idea what it's for, so I kind of used it. I was like, well, this is really boring. I'm just using it to power up my Pokemon. But I didn't know you could just sort of do it by fighting in general. So yeah, basically it's just kind of like boring and just not amazing. Just, yeah, they kind of removed it. But I also have problems with the Pokepelago. The problem is, I don't really catch Pokemon that often. So, I only got up to level 2 on the Pokepelago, I think. I know this is stupid and I could have just caught some Pokemon, but spending half an hour catching Rockruffs and Caterpies just to level up my Pokepelago doesn't seem very entertaining. So, you know, like, there's probably nothing too major about the Pokepelago, because in general it's probably a very good thing, but it's just still, I just didn't really like it particularly. But, so yeah, that was that last thing. Yeah. So, this was me basically sharing my stupid opinion that no one will ever see, but hey, that's the story of my life. Thank you for watching, and subscribe if you want to, which you probably don't, but you know, whatever.